Hey, it's time for TV Skywriter. Good evening or afternoon, everybody. Welcome to TV Skywriter. I'm Pat Murray. I publish the Durham Skywriter, that's Durham, North Carolina's online community paper. And right now I'm doing TV Skywriter, and that's where I invite you to learn about folks that I think are really cool from around the world. My guest this week happens to be local for me, Durham, North Carolina. And she's a 16-year-old junior at Hillside High School, or actually is Hillside International Baccalaureate, which is like an honors program. So welcome. My guest is Mareya Sanders.
Hello.
Very happy to have you here, Mareya. Now, I met Miss Sanders through her mom. I just happened to be attending a meeting about Durham Public Schools, and her mom was there, Glenda Sanders, and she was kind of bragging on you a little bit there, Mareya. She was talking about your crusade against bullying. Mm-hmm. And my ears perked up. I was like, oh, that's one subject I'm really interested in. So welcome, Mareya, and tell us, how did you even get interested in this topic of bullying?
So I got interested in bullying because I was bullied myself in middle school. So after that event, I just thought, I want to talk to kids about bullying. I want to let them know that there's a lot of support out here that can help them with some of the problems that they're having. I want to let them know that they can always make it, and that there's nobody holding them back, and that just because you were bullied doesn't mean that you're any less than what you are. So yeah, that's how I really got started.
Okay. Now, I'm a lot older. I'm 62. You're 16. And when people would make fun of, I guess you could say I was bullied when I was a kid, but I can't really say bullied because back in my day, I know so old, I sound old when I say that, but people would make fun of you to your face, but it seems that today it's a lot different with the internet. And so can you explain to me how it's different today with the internet and social media and everything?
Yeah, so I think bullying, I mean, it is face-to-face in schools still, but I think it has moved to a different level to go, like it's gone to social media now. And so I feel like the bullies are taking it to a whole different level. And I feel like that is what is really hurting these kids that are victims of bullying, because when you take it to social media, you're putting it out there in front of everybody. And sometimes, like if you hear a story about a bully, I mean, it's just the bully and the victim. But now when you're putting it on social media, it's out in front of everybody so everybody can see it. So you're just getting embarrassed. So that's what and I don't feel like bullying should happen at all, first of all. But I think they just taking it to another level.
See, another thing about bullying, if I've watched some videos, I'm not a mom, so I have to rely on YouTube videos and the news. And it seems that, again, when I was a kid, maybe some kid would make fun of my glasses, or the fact I was skinny or whatever. But it was just between me and her or whatever. But it seems, from what I understand, if there's one kid who's bullying another kid, or I should say young person, then all these other people jump in for some reason. And why is that?
I feel like some kids, well, I know in high school, some kids want to feel like they are in the in crowd, or they're cool. So they think by jumping in, it's just making them cool, when it's really not. It's just making them look like a bad person. Because if you see somebody else doing something bad, that doesn't mean you should jump in and just be bad with them. Like you shouldn't, like, say I was getting bullied and someone came up to me and was like, oh, well, I see them bullying, let me start bullying them too. No, you shouldn't do that. You should stay where you are and be the best person that you can be. And if you see somebody getting bullied, you should say something. And you should
to the other person, or to the principal.
Yeah, you should go to somebody else and say, hey, this person is getting bullied and I don't think it's right. You should help the victim. Don't help the bully, because the bully has other issues going on, and that's why the bully is bullying somebody else. So that's how.
Okay. So suppose there is a bully and they're jumping on someone on social media,
Mm-hmm.
and you happen to know what their problem is, who knows what it might be. If you just simply call them out, I know you're making fun of me because this and such
Mm-hmm.
happened to you or whatever. Um, is that a good way to battle the person, or would it get even worse?
Um, I don't. I think it just depends on what the way that you're getting bullied. I think I could
Hmm.
say
Okay. Okay.
because, and there's different in my opinion, there's different levels of a bully. I mean,
What are the different levels for those of us who?
I think some bullies can like go to the fact where they may be just picking on you, but some bullies may go to the fact like where they just push you around. And I just think that's just adding on to like how mean they're being to one of the victims.
Mhm.
But um I think let me see how to
It's
answer
kind of
this.
deep, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And that's why I'm trying to think like I think it's the choice of the victim of how they want to handle it
Mhm. Mhm.
because it just depends on how they feel because everybody may feel have a different feeling about how they're getting bullied. So yeah.
And I guess there's different reactions to bullying, and I have a feeling that bullies sense how they're hurting the other person, and they know how to push their buttons. That's what I'm guessing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like when I was, I'm not even gonna say I was bullied. I was made fun of. I can't say bullied because I only had to get into a fight once, and that was in high
Mhm.
school. Um, and I was so embarrassed because it was so unladylike. But anyway, um,
Mhm.
so like for example, if somebody calls you ugly, and see, in my case, I was a funny looking kid, but my mom told me that I was pretty. Okay, maybe I
Mhm.
was, maybe I wasn't. But anybody calling me ugly, it didn't matter to me because my parents had my back. You know what I mean? But I have a
Right.
feeling if you're from a household where your parents are calling you ugly, and I've seen parents be mean to their kids,
Mhm.
then I think bullying would hurt even more, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because
I feel
you need backup at home.
yeah, I feel like you need that support from your family because if you and especially if you're not coming home to tell your parents that you're getting bullied, you definitely don't need them telling you that you're ugly. So that's just adding on to what the bully is saying to you at school and that's just making you feel more self-conscious about yourself and you're not feeling as good and that's just making you feel worse. So
Hmm.
I think the family should be behind the victim's back 100%. And
Right.
I and nobody should ever tell like well their child that they are ugly or they won't ever have anything or anything like that. I don't think the family should ever be negative
Some
to
parents have issues too, unfortunately.
yeah yeah
Unfortunately, having kids doesn't solve all your problems.
mhm
And if you have issues, you're gonna have issues with your kids. I know that jealousy sometimes plays into it in terms
mhm
of who gets bullied. Uh, 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 a kind child or a sensitive or a pretty child will sometimes be bullied by other kids, and
mhm,
sometimes the mom will be jealous of her own daughter.
yeah and I don't
I
get
can't
that.
understand that, but it does
I don't
happen.
get that at all. I don't get that at all because I'm when I think about that I'm just like you had her so you had your child so how can you be jealous of your own child. So I really that's one thing that I really don't understand, but it happens.
Now we were talking earlier about who does the bullying. Now on TV, on kids shows, it's always the blonde girl. And I went to, I grew up in an all black neighborhood in Chicago, just about all black. And
Mm-hmm.
so the Chicago school system is neighborhood. So I went to pretty much all black schools, integrated high school out of the neighborhood. So I couldn't relate to the blonde girl being the bad person. So who do you think, you just said that some of them have issues, But is there a certain type of kid? I know it's not going to be just all blonde children are going to be bad guys. It's just television. But is there a particular kind of kid or young person who becomes a bully?
I don't think so. I think anybody can be a bully. If they're if that person is bullying somebody else, then you are a bully. I don't think it's blondes, or I don't think it's all blondes or all blacks or anything. I don't think it really depends. I think it's just on how you treat other people.
Mm-hmm. Now you're a mentor. So how did
Mhm.
you become a mentor, and what do you do for other young people who are being hurt by bullies?
So I do mentor other kids. I started a platform called Comfortable in the Skin You're In. And so what I do is I speak to kids that are victims of bullying. And so I really just talk to them about having self confidence and being themselves, and that having a support system is very important when you're getting bullied. And so I even told some of the kids that I'm here if you need me to talk about what you have going on, even if you don't want to talk to anybody else. So I'm here. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of putting myself out there and being a support system. And I know I tell the kids sometimes, I'm just like, I want you guys to know that if people are going to come at you any way that they can,
Hmm.
and that you just have to be able to take the right steps and tell your bully, no, you're not going to hurt my feelings, and no, you're not going to make my life miserable. And I mean, another girl, well, this year another girl in my school, she tried to bully me.
Hmm.
So, but I knew the steps to take so that wouldn't happen anymore. And I have to give kudos to my principal, Dr. William Logan, who mentored me through the entire situation, and I had the utmost respect for him because of his unyielding support. And I have to give kudos to Miss Jessica Austin, who has been by my side since ninth grade, and
Hmm.
she has had the same support for me ever since. So yeah.
So what was the first, you said you took, steps. So what was the first step? And it should the steps always be the same when you're bullied?
Well, I mean, it depends on how you were bullied. I mean, and it depends on the victim and what steps that they want to take on their own that are like helping them get better in their process. So, I mean, tell someone. I don't think any victim of bullying should ever keep it in. I think you should always tell someone, because there's always somebody out there that can help you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you should tell someone. And I mean, if you need to, for example, if you need to go to counseling or anything, do it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, don't keep it in, because it's just going to hurt even more, because you're just trying to handle it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to handle all this stuff. And I mean, as a teenager, I mean, teenagers, we got a lot going on. We can't handle all of this stuff on the inside and then just try to handle it ourselves. We got to tell people so we can get some help. And so they can know what they're supposed to be doing, so they won't be driving themselves crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really the most important step in like getting over like what's going on in your life.
So I guess if you have supportive parents, you should tell your parents.
Yeah. Tell your
And
parents.
I would hope that most parents are supportive. I would hope that.
Yeah.
And if not, I guess the principal or the teacher or
Yeah. Yeah, or your counselor, your principal, your teacher, your counselor, your parents. And I mean, I know I tell my parents, my parents support me so much. I mean,
now
like
back in the day, the parents would go to the other parent's house. I don't think they do that nowadays, do they?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
They'll say, give me her number. I'll call her right this minute.
Don't call her mother. Yeah, but I don't think they do that. I don't think they do that anymore. I think they just go to the school, because I think most of it happens in school.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Now, this is to me the biggest question of all.
Uh,
And that is, okay, somebody's making fun of you, whatever.
mhm.
Why would a young person put the opinion of another young person ahead of their own. You know what I mean? So if another kid says you're ugly or you're skinny or your glasses are stupid, why
Mm-hmm.
would you accept that? I mean, it's just some random child's opinion. Why is why is the opinion of others so important nowadays?
Yeah, see, when I think about that, I think that some kids like, okay, so like some of the shy kids may accept that because, they may not feel like they may not have a lot of self-confidence. Let me say that. They may not have a lot of self-confidence, so they don't really know what to do. Now, I'm sure out there somewhere in this world, some kids do say some things back and they don't accept like what other people say to them. But I'm sure it's some that are like very self-conscious about themselves. So they just accept what other people say. So I don't really know why they would. I mean,
See, that's the part that confuses me. Because even when I was a kid, I mean, I had a mirror. I knew I was skinny. I knew I was funny looking. I knew my glasses were kind of silly, but
mm-hmm.
I didn't worry about it because I did. I got good grades and I was musical, and I knew I couldn't be every. I mean, nobody's everything.
Yeah,
So I just felt, well, you just deal with it. I mean, I'm not going to be number one in all the areas.
yeah, and that's when you're being bullied, that's when that support system comes back in. If
Hmm.
you're not really feel if you don't feel like if you don't feel like you have self confidence and you're just keeping it in, that's when your support system comes in, and that's what carries you uh, a long way.
Hmm.
So, well, that's what carries you a long way through the process.
Now I know you're 16 and you
Yeah.
haven't studied psychology in college yet and all that,
Uh-uh.
but do you have any advice or have you figured out a way at all to tell kids how to develop self-confidence, or is that too much for a teen to explain to another teen?
Well,
How do you develop self-confidence?
what did you say? Oh, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
I was just saying, how do you develop self-confidence?
Well, I think, well, I know I tell myself, I look in the mirror and I say positive things to myself, and I know that helps me. So, I tell kids like, well, my advice is to not let anybody tear you down. Don't let, I mean, if people do say hurtful things, I mean, just brush it off your shoulder and keep going. Like that shouldn't stop you. Like nobody's going to hold you back but yourself,
Good,
basically.
good point.
And so I'm telling people like to strive to be great, stay in school, go to college, and become whatever you want to be, and just be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself, because that what the bully, that's their problem. And
Hmm.
so you shouldn't have to deal with that. You should just be yourself and be confident and be the person that you want to be, and you shouldn't have to worry about what anybody else says. And like in school, I was one of the kids in my school that ran the Vote No Devos campaign. And so when I did that, I thought that we need a Secretary of Education that is going to make a positive change for the kids.
Hmm.
And so I worked on that with my English teacher, Jackie Novotny, who helped me with the entire campaign. And that was a big part of bullying for me too, because I thought, I mean, it's it all ties together. I think it all ties together.
Yeah.
So yeah, and oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I mean I love what you're saying. I mean it's really good to have to work with adults and also young people. It helps build your self-esteem and your contacts and
Right.
your skills.
Mhm.
So I guess that's really wonderful what you're saying. And I just feel now I've seen TV shows
Mhm.
where the former victim meets the former bully decades later. And very often, to my surprise, the bully doesn't either remember it ever happening or doesn't realize that it hurt the other person. Either, and I would think either they're really insensitive
Mhm.
or they just don't realize that bullying is as big a deal as it is, and they're probably just having fun.
Yeah. I think, well, when you meet whoever you bullied, I think, I don't know. I would probably be scared because I wouldn't want to meet somebody that I bullied in high school. I wouldn't want to meet anybody that did that because you don't know what they're gonna say to
Hmm.
you once they see
Hmm.
you again. But I think, I mean, at that point you're grown. You should realize what you did, and you should realize what you did was wrong. First of
Hmm.
all,
Hmm.
so that's all I really have. What I really have to say about that.
Now, I'm going to ask you another question that you might not have the answer to. Do you think bullies are being bullied at home? Some people say that.
Well, I mean, I think they could be because I think bullies come from having like they don't have as much self confidence. So I mean, they make the other person feel like that. So I mean, they could be bullied at home, but I mean I mean nobody else knows that but them. So
Yeah. I
I
mean, it
mean,
could be like, well, don't look at me. Look at her. Look at her.
yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. That's exactly how it is. And so like that's why I'm trying to push this support system for these kids because all of this stuff that's going on is like really getting to some of these kids. I mean, it's going as far as suicide. And I
Mm.
mean, and nobody should ever have to push you to that limit. So um I've also been wanting to speak to Dr. Mubanga, which is our new superintendent
Hmm.
for DPS, and I wanted to talk to him about making a district-wide group to help the kids that are being bullied, and so like they can just so we can just like talk about the being bullied and stuff, and have like a another support system group to help these other bullies. So that's another thing that I have been working on, and I also spoke to Dr. Pamela Baldwin, which is the Chapel Hill Carborough City School superintendent, on expanding the mentorship group to other districts, so it wouldn't just be in Durham. And she gave me her full support, and she's such an amazing person. I love her so much, and I appreciate her so much. And she actually supported me at the women conference I spoke at, and I will never forget that. That was such an important
So
part.
you spoke at a conference? Tell us about that.
I did. I spoke at a women's conference for St. Joseph Church in Chapel Hill, and it was called "I'm Every Woman." And so I spoke about my bullying platform there, and I just gave a little bit of my story and how I'm trying to start these support groups and stuff just to get it. I'm trying to get the word out there.
That is wonderful. Now, so you have this, I guess you'd call it a campaign, I guess, or Project Comfortable in the Skin You're in.
Hmm.
So is this
Hmm.
just you talking to other students at Hillside, or do you have other students at Hillside mentoring their classmates?
Well, I mean, I think right now it's just me, but I want to get other students with me to help talk to the victims of bullying. Like I want to make it into a big program. Well, I'm not the only mentor. I want to get other mentors to help
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
well. That's why I'm trying to get it to another district. I'm trying to just like tell my friends, and I'm sure my I'll get some people to help me with this.
Well,
So
if some of the viewers here of TV Skywriter see this, and maybe their child goes to Northern or Riverside or whatever, how can they get it? What if they're saying that's a wonderful idea? We need to do this. Do
mhm.
you have any idea how they can get involved, or is it too soon? It's a
um
wonderful idea.
Thank you so much. And I really have been working on this, and I've been trying to think of like other ways that I like of things that I can do, and like things that we can meet and other activities and stuff like that. So I mean, if somebody out there really wants to help me carry on my support bullying program, I mean, they can contact me at my email at mareya.sanders@gmail.com. And you could just email me your name and your information, and we can just talk about how we can get the ball rolling.
I think that can really work out because Durham has what, eight or so high schools. I can't remember. I used to know, but
For
yeah,
sure.
a mentoring group in each of the high schools would be awesome. And then um, Chapel Hill, or isn't it like what, Carborough Chapel Hill, whatever they call it? Um,
Chapel Hill Public City Schools.
that would be awesome. And
Yeah.
then Raleigh, and then Asheville, and then
As far as it goes.
Fayetteville, and
Uh-huh.
Chicago.
Yeah, right, right. Chicago, as far as I can get it to go, I'm just trying to get it in one place first, and then I'm gonna try to start
Hmm.
moving it around. Once I get it secure in one place, then I'm gonna try to start moving it around. Another person that's been helping me with this is Miss Bettina Umstead. She's a member of the DPS school board, and she has mentored me through my whole bullying experience. And I've known her since sixth grade.
Hmm.
And so she is one of the directors in the student university program that I'm involved in. And this summer coming up, I'll be doing an internship with her. And I've been in the program since sixth grade.
Nice.
So
Okay.
yeah, so she has been supporting me too. She's another one of my mentors. Here comes this support group is coming back. All of these people, that's my main thing. These I'm trying to tell these kids, you guys have so much support. You just have to let them know, and you can get some help.
I can see why you're so successful because, I mean, I'm just now meeting you. Like I said, your
Hmm.
mom was bragging about you pretty bad. No, I shouldn't say.
Hmm.
She was. Your folks are so proud of you. You should know that. Okay.
Yeah, I do know
Yeah.
that.
She was bragging on you. Not. I'm not. I don't mind saying that. But here's the
Uh-huh.
thing. I notice that you have a lot of mentors, and I guess the best way to be a mentor is to have mentors,
Hmm.
and that is pretty good advice for other young people. Make those connections.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have one more question. This will probably be the last question, unless you
Okay.
want to. You have a question for me. Do
Uh-huh.
you think at the college level this could help? Do you think students at, for example, North Carolina Central University or Duke,
Hmm.
would be able to help with a program like this?
I think they would. I think it would be so good for to have some college students to help with the program, because I think they'll be able to explain from a college level. See,
Hmm.
I can only explain from middle school and a high school level. So I think the college students would add a great bonus to the program. And if any of them would like to help, they can contact me as well.
I think so too, because sometimes adults forget what it's like to be a young person. And they're
Hmm.
like, oh, I was bullied when I was a kid, get over it. Or come on, they're just, they're losers. Don't worry about it.
Messing with you, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And a college student is young enough to remember
Hmm.
sometimes college students are bullied. I
Yeah.
remember one of the first court TV cases that I watched when it was a popular network. There was a college student who was gay. He
Hmm.
didn't tell everybody he was gay, but his roommate, I don't know, played a trick on him or did something really mean,
Hmm.
um, outed his roommate, and the young man ended up killing himself. He obviously didn't have anyone to talk to or to turn to. And in fact, it was more than just his roommate. His roommate and some of his friends did something very mean,
Oh yes, it was really mean.
outrageously mean. And it was just
Mhm.
ridiculous. So that just let me know that I guess bullying doesn't stop right after high school graduation.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely doesn't. See, and I think gender does not matter. I accept people the way that they are all the time, so it that doesn't even really matter. So I don't even understand why that would matter to anybody else. I mean, I think that's just awful. And
Some
and
people are just, I don't know, they're just haters, just immature or,
haters gonna hate.
yeah. So don't let them break your hearts or take your souls or drive you to do something crazy because obviously there's something that they're dealing with that they don't want to share with anybody else.
Hmm. Yeah, and
So,
I'm all about, get involved in your community, meet new people. I'm in the in the cotillion right now. So, and those women have taught me so much throughout this program, and I've met so many great girls that are involved as well, and we have become so close already. Like I love them, and I'm doing the cotillion with the Alpha Zeta Omega chapter, and Miss Peebles has taught me so much etiquette and other valuable things that I'm going to use in my lifetime. So getting involved, you never know who you're going to meet, and that's making connections. It's not about what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly.
So connection is a big thing, and it can really help you throughout your high school life, your college life, your real life once you get out of college. So get involved. Don't be all closed in. Just be happy and be you.
I love it. And that's a beautiful way to end the show.
Yeah. Another thing that I want to say, one more thing that I want to say in closing is that people need to know that our generation is strong and that we're going to take a stand for change in the world today. So we're going to take a stand on body judgment, take a stand on gender rights, take a stand on stopping teenage suicide, and take a stand on especially gun control. So that's why I support Emma for Change. And my thoughts and prayers go out to those fellow students in Florida.
Beautiful. I agree with you. I'm behind you 100%.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So thank you for Mareya Sanders for being on the show. And thank your mom, Glenda Sanders, because without her, I wouldn't have known about you. So it was beautiful meeting you. And I would love to have you back on the show, especially when you get to the point where you're starting to get other schools involved. You know, if there's any way that I could help expand your reach or get the word out, I'm at your disposal.
Thank you so much. And as soon as we get this rolling and I get some more help, you could have me and some of the other mentors on as well.
Beautiful. So thanks, Mareya, for being on the show. And folks, I hope you did enjoy seeing a young student who's really making a huge difference. And her name again is Mareya Sanders. Her information will be in the description of the show below. So I will bid you adieu right now. Thanks again, Mareya. Did you want to throw any shout outs? I'm sorry, you're young. You probably have some shout outs to throw out to friends and whatnot.
No, I gave all of my shout outs already.
You sure did, actually. You actually did. You did a great job at it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, folks, you have a beautiful day. If you'd like to be a guest on TV Skywriter, all you have to do is to connect with me via Twitter at Durham Skywriter. And be sure to read Durham, North Carolina's online community paper, the Durham Skywriter, at durhamskywriter.com. With that, have a good evening or afternoon. Ciao for now, and I will see you later.